Blue Beetle number 12, written by Tony Bedard, art by Ig Guara. Last issue we left off with Paco turning back into the Black Beetle, Red Beetle. This story is called Blood Beetle, so I'm going to go with Blood Beetle. And attacking the DEO. This issue picks up mid-fight. They're still attacking the DEO, and he has the upper hand, no problem. He's like attacking everybody there. He gets his hands on Director Bones, grabs him by the, I guess what you can call the neck, more the spine, and he's like, tell me where I can find that redheaded girl, Brenda Del Vecchio, or else I'll pop your skull off of your spine. And so Bones says like, oh, it's the door behind me, and he gets tossed aside, and Blood Beetle breaks out Brenda, who has no idea what's going on here. Meanwhile, Blue Beetle, Jaime, is still in costume, standing in the middle of his grandmother's apartment, and just like, oh dear God, what? I can't remember the last time I was here, and now I'm here in a bug suit. What in the hell? So they're looking over like some pictures and stuff like that. And the grandmother, who is very heavily Catholic, has a whole bunch of Jesus imagery around, which really confuses the bug suit. It's just like, oh, is that also a member of your family? And he's like, not really. And it's just like, then who is this bearded man with the exposed cardioid? It's like, that's Jesus. He kind of died for all of humankind. And the suit's like, that's irrational. How does self-sacrifice benefit others? And at that point, the grandmother comes in, and he's like, why are you still wearing that suit? And he's like, how do you know it's me under there, Grandma? And she's like, oh, of course I just know it's you. Now, go ahead, take it off. And he's like, here's the thing. The last person who saw me, like, with my suit off kind of, got stabbed through the heart. And Grandma's like, do I look like I'm afraid to die? Psh, as she's smoking up a cigarette. And he's like, all right, well, yeah, I can do that. So he tells the bug suit, like, do not kill my grandma. I swear to God. And he depowers the suit, and they just share a nice long hug. And he goes over like, man, it's like that smell to her that just triggers all these memories. And the suit's like, what are these memories of love? So then at that point, the crazy like fortune teller lady woman busts into the grandmother's apartment, and she sees Jaime, says like, excuse me one moment, drinks some holy water, spits it in Jaime's face, and then calls it a blessing. 'Cause sure, why not? And then she tells him like, by the way, a boy and a girl were here, redhead and Hispanic boy. And he's like, oh, those are my friends. Where are they? What happened to them? And so the bug suit starts scanning for that thing in Paco's heart, and he's like, they're currently in a situation, and we see they're on top of a bullet train trying to track down Kajida. By the way, the bug suit now calls Paco, he calls him Kaji Paco, which I love. So Brenda's being held basically as bait. He's like, I recognize that Kaji Ka, a.k.a. Blue Beetle, which I'm just going to say Blue Beetle from now on, he's there to protect you. He's clearly trying to save you. So if I use you as bait, he'll show up. Because since I was deactivated, he should have taken over this planet's defenses by now, which he clearly is not. Therefore, he needs to be replaced. And you will be the ability to find so. And Brenda leans in because she knows Paco's underneath all of that. She leans into the whole like, Paco, I know that you like me. Like me. So maybe pay attention to me. Look this way. Don't look behind you. As bam, Blue Beetle shows up and lands a pretty solid punch, knocking Brenda off of this train as she starts plummeting down. But Jaime swoops down and saves her. But in doing so, he gets attacked by Blood Beetle and gets his head coated in some sort of mysterious liquid. And at this point, the suit's like, you have to use deadly countermeasures in order to win here. And he's like, no, I'm not killing Paco again, for God's sakes. There's got to be something we can do here. And he says, like, look, if there's anything I can do, like, I would give my own heart if it would mean saving Paco's life here. And the suit's like, you'd be willing to self-sacrifice? Like the Jesus man that you talked about before? And he's like, yeah, I guess, if you want to go that route. And he's like, all right, I have a plan. I'm downloading it into your brain because there's no time to talk. Also because we don't want the readers to know what's going on until it happens. So at that point, Blood Beetle's like, I am terminating the defective scarab. Goodbye, Kajika. But then Blue Beetle shoves his hand into Paco's chest, rips out the thing that was keeping him alive, so now it's just a giant hole in his heart, and then reaches into his heart and starts basically performing surgery where the suit clones part of Jaime's heart and then grafts it onto Paco's heart in order to save him. And the suit melts away from Paco, and he's still alive. He manages to gasp back to life, and he's totally fine. And Brenda's like, "You did it, Blue Beetle! You saved him! Congratulations!" So at that point, everyone is now like, "Oh, Blue Beetle's a hero. That's great." And Jaime's like, "Hey, Bugsuit, why couldn't we do that before?" And Bugsuit's like, "You taught me that there is a reason for self-sacrifice. Love." He doesn't say love, but he may as well have. So they all go back to his grandmother's apartment, and their grandmother makes a call to Jaime's father saying, like, "Hey, everybody's safe. They're all here now, but maybe, like, we should stay in contact. Like, because I think family is going to be very important to Jaime and his life moving forward now. You know, being a superhero." She doesn't say the last part, but that's what she means. And also, Jaime learns that Brenda's now, like, totally rich. So that's that. It was good. I think it was a solid wrap up to the whole New York thing of his friends saw him, and after he went through like 8 different trials, it ended up being that he just needed to reconnect with his family again. I think it had a nice little moral going into that of like, yeah, look, you can leave home, but your family's always going to be there. Your family and friends, apparently. So yeah, no, I liked it. It was a solid story overall. This particular issue, it did the full setup of Blood Beetle and then paid it off entirely. I think that it kind of it was leaning a bit too much into the, like, what is love? Teach me the ways of Jesus. Bit much. I liked it, though. I thought it was funny, especially the Kaji Paco part. That part, that got me. So, yeah, overall, solid story. I give it an 8. I think it was very well written. I think it was drawn very well, and I understood everything going on pretty straightforward. I think that it was pretty disjointed from last issue, being the whole Blue Beetle stuff, and apparently it says follow up on a adventure of Blue Beetle in Justice League International Annual #1, which is coming out in 2 weeks. So I guess that might tie into the Blue Beetle or the Booster Gold stuff somehow. But overall, this issue's fine, and I look forward to seeing where it goes.